It's kefir time. Kefir time. I need a chopstick. I'll be right back. Good afternoon, friends. I am going to flip my milk kefir. I thought I would go live and see if anybody wanted to see what I'm doing today. This is my milk kefir jar. This is how much milk kefir I have going at any given time. This is 2.5 cups of milk. That's all it is. So it's not very much. This is all I keep going at all times. I feed this, I stir it up, I feed it every 24 to 48 hours, thereabout. How's everybody doing today? Say hi. Tell me who's here. Tell me where you're from if you want. So, with milk kefir, you see the chonkiness there? I'm going to give them a stir. You can see my little grains are actually on the top right there. And I'll just stir it up, kind of break up the chunks a little bit. And I'm going to, hey, welcome, Northern California. It's beautiful there. All right, we're going to just start pouring this into my strainer. Feel free to ask me questions if you guys are like, what the heck is happening? There we go. And I'm happy to answer any other questions you guys might have as well. So, milk kefir grains are super, super... You're from Colorado too? I'm in Colorado. What part of Colorado are you in? They're very hardy, so you can really like beat on these kefir grains to get all of the kefir milk to go through into the jar, okay? So you don't have to worry about hurting kefir grains. They're very, very hardy. My girlfriend, who I gave some of my kefir grains to, she did her kefir. You're in Longmont? Oh, you're not far from me. I'm in Thornton. Anyway, she left her kefir on the counter in the same milk for like 7 days, and they were perfectly fine. She strained them out, she gave them new milk, and they bounced right back. Pretty awesome. Since you're local 100X farm, if you want cultures and you want to drive up to Thornton, you want to make any of the stuff that I'm making, I give cultures to local people for free. If you come and get them, I will hook you up. All right, let's put this on here. We're just straining out my grains. That's all this is. And this is such an easy process. Like, how hard is it to pour a little bit of milk into a thing and just like stir it? It's not a hard task at all. What I'm doing right now is I am preparing to second ferment my kefir. So I make this batch, the stuff straight from the grains. This is my first ferment. So the first ferment is inoculating the milk, eating all of the lactose out of it, adding these microbes, these powerful, healthful yeasts and bacteria into this milk. And then after it's done with the kefir grains, it's very strong. So it has a potent, tangy, tart flavor. I like to drink a whole quart of kefir in a sitting. So that's quite a bit to just drink. And I personally like my kefir a little milder. So what I do is I take these microbes that I've cultivated and I give them more food. So I will give them more milk and let them ferment even further, and it makes a really yummy, mild kefir. Hi, Register Melissa says, I'm brand new here from the coast of North Carolina. I'm interested in all the health benefits and how you got started. There are so many health benefits. Holy mackerel. So I didn't know for a lot of years. I started off, the very first fermented thing that I did was kefir soda. I did with the water kefir grains. That was my first thing. And I did that for about a year, and it was fun, but it had a really fast turnaround, and it was a lot of maintenance, and I kind of had a new baby, and I was like, I can't do this right now. So I stopped. But then, as my kids got older, my mom grew a kombucha SCOBY, and she was like, hey, I made this SCOBY. Your sister wanted one. Do you want one too? And I was like, I guess, sure. Kombucha is a lot more hands-off, so you don't have to do it every day. It's like every 2 weeks to every month, so it's really, really manageable. You don't have to like constantly be touching it like you might have to do with like a milk kefir or water kefir grains, where you have to be maintaining it all the time. So that was fantastic. I was doing that, and then I got into making fermented vegetables. So sauerkraut, I started gardening. I started making fermented salsas. I started making fermented peppers, hot sauces, sauerkraut, fermented carrots, those sort of things. Those were kind of my gateway. And then I went to a Weston A. Price meeting, which if you don't know about Weston A. Price is awesome. He was a dentist. He lived 100 years ago. He did all this research about dental health and the deep nutrition that is required to create perfect, healthy smiles that we don't really have in the United States anymore. Our diet is pretty much void of nutrition, especially compared to people's around the world. Long story short, I went to that meeting in hopes of getting milk kefir grains. Nobody had any, but I came home with this mesophilic yogurt culture, which is a yogurt culture that you can do just right on the counter. And I was like, well, this is cool. I just like add milk, set it on the counter. And I did that for about a month. And then I was like research, because that's what I do. I love to research. I have researched things from methylation to gut health to making soaps to like nervous system regulation, lymphatic drainage. Like health and wellness is like a drug. I love it. I'm like so deeply interested in anything that I can figure out that will help someone. So I've researched nutrition, herbalism, like supplements, how to take them, when to take them, what's bad, what's good, what, all of the things. I have a very, very broad base. I'm an ADHD person, and when ADHD people find something that they're interested in, we go hard. We don't mess around. We research a lot. So, long story short, I started researching, and I found out about milk kefir. And when I found out that milk kefir has 50 strains of microbes and yeast versus the mesophilic culture of yogurt that only has 3, regular yogurt at the grocery store that only has 4, I was like, holy cow, I need to get some milk kefir grains. So I ended up ordering milk kefir grains on Amazon because I was like, I don't know any better. I'm just going to get on Amazon and get them. And I got them, and it was like 4 little bitty grains, and I grew them into a huge bunch. Diane said, I'm so happy you found me during the live. I was kind enough to answer a few questions, specifically about dairy intolerance and milk kefir, so here I am. Yay! I hope you try it. I really do. Because my best girlfriend, Katrina, she was lactose intolerant. She is lactose intolerant. To me, lactose intolerant, what I'm discovering is that your body just doesn't have the enzymes to digest the pasteurized dairy. Because guess what pasteurization does? It removes the enzymes you need to digest the dairy. Hi Holly, hi Miss Lopez. How you girls doing this afternoon? So, I got them doing milk kefir. My best friend Katrina, she was so sad because she like couldn't drink milk. She couldn't put yogurt in her smoothies. She couldn't eat cheese. She couldn't do any of the fun stuff. No sour cream, none of that stuff. We got her doing the milk kefir, and guess what? she can now tolerate regular cheese. Isn't that exciting? She was so happy when she was able to finally eat regular cheese. She can do all the kefir. So she takes the kefir, just like I do, and she uses that to ferment overnight oats to make the oats more digestible. She uses that to strain it out and make tzatziki. She strains it out and makes yogurt. She strains it out and makes cream cheese. She puts it in her smoothies. So this is a way that people that are dairy intolerant could potentially fix their guts so that they can eat all the dairy again. Ooh, 100X Farm says, I am a farmer and I'm hoping to rescue a mini cow during this upcoming year. This is the best information for you. Yes. Oh my gosh, that would be so cool. My friend is a farmer too, and she just got two Highland cows. 2 girl Highland cows. They're babies right now, but she's hoping to be milking them in 3 years, and I'm so excited. Today I actually picked up from the library. Check this out. I checked out a press from the library because I have been wanting to try to make my own hard cheese. Like, I already make soft cheese. I want to learn how to make hard cheese. So I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna try it. So this kefir, half of this kefir that I'm making right now is gonna end up in the press. Are you guys excited? I'm excited. All right, back to straining. I'm just chatting. What else do you have on your farm, 100X? Just curious. I'm all about to make some cheese. This is great information. Thank you. I only drink oat milk because it seems to be the most, I don't know what that means, generous to my body. I want to try it. You definitely should. A lot of people that I know that have dairy intolerances have 0 problems with this, and this is so nutrient dense. So we're talking vitamins A, D, K2, calcium, all of the B vitamins, tryptophan, magnesium, phosphorus. This is literally a multivitamin in a cup. Plus it has protein. So it's got everything you need to start your day. Yeah, okay. So Your Life Handmade, my friend Holly is in the chat. We did an experiment where we wanted to see if store-bought milk kefir would ferment more milk. So she put store-bought milk kefir, it was the Life Away plain brand, into a jar and added more milk to it and set it on the counter. And 3 days later, it's done nothing. So Life Away store-bought milk kefir is not milk kefir.
What?
You guys, I have a milk kefir mini guide available. If you DM me, I'll send it to you. So they have 8 cooney pigs and 6 alpacas. Oh, how cute. Lots of ducks and chickens. Dairy is new to me. You're researching. Yes. That's so fun. All right. So this is about how much I like to put in each jar. So that's about 1.5 cups of kefir. And I'm going to switch to the other jar. It's so stinking good for you. It's so good for you. I can't even. And the amazing thing about milk kefir is that, some people say, oh, I get constipated from drinking milk, or I'm constipated anyway. Kefir is like the great constipation killer. I swear, it is so powerful. My friend has horrible constipation. She was pregnant at the time, and I was like, here, drink this kefir. And when that was happening, she was in the middle of doing the finger prick test because she refused the glucose test at the doctor's office. So she was drawing her blood and testing it, right? So each day she drank the kefir, she would poop and she would test her blood sugar and her blood sugar would be normal. But this friend is forgetful, like very forgetful. And she wouldn't drink it the next day, right? She wouldn't poop that day. And then she would test her blood and her blood sugar would be trash. And then the following day she would remember her kefir and she would poop again and her blood sugar would be perfect. And I'm like, that's quantifiable proof. That is proof to me that it actually helps to regulate your blood sugar. It has a natural ability to act as an ACE inhibitor, which is what metformin does, which is what berberine does. But guess what? Berberine is an antimicrobial, so it is killing off your good microbes. But milk kefir is repopulating your gut with good microbes and good yeasts. And guess what those push back? The bad yeasts and the bad microbes. They push them back and they repopulate your gut and help you heal from the inside. It is crazy how powerful this food is. And this is why they kept it in their pocket. In Eastern Europe, they have had this stuff forever. They discovered kefir by taking milk that they harvested from their sheep and storing it in the stomach of a sheep that was previously harvested, if you know what I mean. The acid in the stomach of that sheep, whatever it was, the microbes in there fermented that milk, created the kefir grains that they eventually figured out that they could cultivate, right? And they were able to preserve that milk and it made them even healthier. You guys, Poland, Russia, like all of these Eastern European places, they have been doing this forever. They make cultured foods all the time. They eat them with every single meal. People in Asian countries, they eat fermented foods all the time. They may not be doing kefir, but they're doing natto, they're doing fermented veggies, they're doing, all of these other powerful fermented fishes and things like that. In Mexico, my friend was just in Mexico, they brought them kefir fermented butter with fermented pineapple drizzle sauce, apparently. And they had this salsa that was made with cactus, fermented salsa in Mexico just now. She's sending me pictures like, oh my gosh, Vanessa, there's so many fermented things here. This is so cool. It's amazing how far behind we are in these ancient arts. Like, how? How? So we should drink kefir every day for good health. If you can do it every day, fantastic. That would be amazing for your health. If you miss a day, no big deal. But there's tons of ways to eat kefir. You don't just have to drink it. You can strain it out and make it into cheese. You can use that kefir cheese to make a dip. You can use that to make spread for your bagel. You can use that to make fruit dip. You can make it into ice cream. You can put it into smoothies. There are so many ways that you can utilize this powerful food and get it into your friends and family. I make a kefir cheese dip that I love to take to parties because for whatever reason, dosing normies who don't know anything about this stuff with microbes just tickles my fancy. I love it. I love feeding microbial foods to people who don't normally eat them. I don't know why. It's so fun to me, but I love it. And I had this kefir cheese out at my seed swap the other night. I had a seed swap with my friends, my garden club. And it's just so fun to see like how much they love it. Like they don't know why they love it, but when somebody eats a microbial food and their body needs it, which pretty much everybody's does. I love inoculating people. They will bite into it and you will see like a reaction. Like, they go, like, you hear them groan, and their eyes will, like, roll back in their head. Like, their body physically reacts to the input. It's amazing. It's crazy to see. And when someone reacts like that, I'm like, that is something you need. When you take a bite out of a food like that and your body just goes, oh God, so good. That is something your body needs, especially if it's a fermented food. My girlfriend, she's the same one with the dairy issue. She's like, we picked up some sauerkraut. I've been eating the sauerkraut. She's like, it's the best thing ever. Or when Melly was like, oh my gosh, the sauerkraut, it's so good. That is how you know her body needs those microbes. Your body's calling out for the microbes and the nutrients. It just wants it. It craves it. My son has been going to town on kombucha for the last 3 days. And that just tells me he needs B vitamins. His body is, there he is with this kombucha. His body is begging for B vitamins. He's like, I can't stop drinking kombucha. I'm like, it's fine. You don't have to stop drinking it. That is your body requesting the help that it needs. Once it knows what it needs, it will ask for it. My kids are so in tuned to their body that I listen to them now, because my daughter will come in the kitchen and be like, hey mom, can we get pomegranates? And I'm like, oh, she needs polyphenols. Yeah, baby, we'll get you some pomegranate, no problem. Or she'll be like, mom, I need, can I get some Manuka honey? And I'm like, yeah, here you go, baby, here's some Manuka honey. Or she's like, hey, mom, can I have some sauerkraut? I'm like, yes, absolutely. Like, eat as much sauerkraut as you want. Go to town. I do not, like, you need to let your body tell you what you need. So sampling and tasting all of these kind of microbial foods will help you to know where you can get it. Your body will recognize and it will crave what you need to heal. Does that make sense? Yes, Holly said kombucha is fire. I drink it every day. I drink it every day through pregnancy, and it was the healthiest placenta along with the beef liver. Absolutely. Beef liver is like, boom, number one. That is the supplement that I recommend to everyone. You should be on beef liver. If you can't just eat beef liver, which we love, just like a pan fried beef liver, I make liver pate all the time. Liver pate is super delicious. We'll eat that like spread on some bread. We'll dip chips in it. Super yummy. Lots of yummy polyphenols in it. If you add like different onions and garlic, such good stuff. But in my house, we try not to eat carbohydrates without protein, right? So if you're gonna have a piece of bread, that piece of bread either needs to be after a protein source. So we're talking eating a dinner, you eat some chicken breast, you eat some steak, you eat whatever protein, then you can have a piece of bread. Or we put pate on it, or we will put kefir cheese on it. So no carbohydrates in absence of protein, right? That's how you eat in a blood sugar balanced fashion. I am thirsty. Longmont Dairy. I don't actually buy their milk, but I get lots of bottles for free during the summer from the farmer's market. It's good stuff. They take their dairy to the farmer's market, and anything that they don't give away as samples, we get as vendors. They give it out. You hungry?
No, I'm just trying to do something.
You need to not.
Okay.
Thank you. Thank you. Alright, we're almost done straining out this jar. And I still have one more jar that I need to strain. I separated off some of my kefir grains because you only want to have 1 tablespoon of grains for each cup of milk. So in this little jar only fits 2.5 cups of milk. So I can only put 2 tablespoons of grains in here. So when you get more grains than what will fit in your vessel, you can do a number of different things with them. You can take those kefir grains and just eat them. They kind of taste like sweet tarts. You just pop them in your mouth. You can pop them in your kefir, just leave them in there and drink them. It's like having a little tangy bulba in there. You can separate them off and start another container of kefir. You can put it into a bigger jar. For me, I oftentimes will split them off and put them into a reused jar for gifting. So I have a friend who lives up in Leadville, and she's going to be down here this weekend, and she just asked me for some kefir grains. So perfect timing. I'm going to send these grains home with her, and she can start on her kefir journey. Does fermenting lessen sugar? Yes. So during the process of fermentation, the microbes are eating the sugar. So in the case of milk, the sugar in milk is lactose. And so fermenting it with the kefir grains, the kefir is eating the lactose, and it breaks it down so that you don't have to. This is considered a pre-digested food. So that takes all of the work off of your body. Your body doesn't have to struggle to break this down. It is already broken down for you. Isn't that cool? Pre-digested. It's like the kefir grains are baby bird in the milk to you. That's probably the grossest analogy, but I think it's funny. Alright, I'm gonna do this one. So there's almost no sugar left in kefir after it's fermented. Now, to feed the grains, like here, we're going to feed the kefir. So to do that, I'm going to give it some more sugar. So that means I'm going to fill this up with more milk. Yes, I did buy my kefir grains on Amazon, but that's not where I recommend buying kefir grains anymore. There is a site called Cultured Food Life. It's run by a really great lady named Donna Schwenk. She has loads of information. A podcast, YouTube videos, a bajillion recipes. Goodness, excuse me. And she sells live kefir grains. I have several friends who have ordered kefir grains from her, and they have been perfect. Fantastic. The sad kefir grains that I ordered on Amazon took me like a month to like get them doing anything. They were pathetic. Cultured Food Life. I'll type it. There you go. And then you just go on her page and it's got like products, and then you just go down to kefir, and she has Donna's live kefir grains. That's what you're looking for. I'm not shipping Donna Schwenk, yeah. She's got fantastic content on kefir. She's got good explanation videos. She has tons and tons and tons and tons of recipes. Good, I'm so glad. Hey, 100X Farm, I'll save you some kefir grains. I will. I will save you some. You can come get some. I'll hook you up. Do you have to grow them? They do grow on their own. You can't grow them from nothing. Scientists have never been able to figure out how to create this culture on its own, which is really cool. Really cool. They cannot recreate kefir grains in a lab. This is literally something that has to have come from the original milk kefir grains. How crazy is that? Like, hundreds of years old. These are all trickled down. Like, you can't just make it. So like sourdough starter, you can make it in your home. No problem. You can grow it. You cultivate your own yeasts. You cannot do that with this. You have to have kefir grains, and those kefir grains will double every week. So you will always get more and more kefir grains.
What about kombucha?
Kombucha you can grow from culture. So you can grow kombucha from store-bought kombucha. Can you reuse the grains, or do you have to buy more? You reuse them forever. They continue to grow. You can have the same kefir grains that you bought now 15 years from now. They will constantly grow and repopulate. You could spread the seeds of love to everyone you know, and you will always have some left. It's so cool. So it is a one-time purchase, and you never have to buy them again. It's amazing. Do you want to watch a show?
Yes.
You can watch a show. My son is the only one here today. His sister's not here to entertain him, so he's like poking around, staring at me. Pay attention to me. So we're gonna let him watch a show. Is this going to be in my book? Yes. Everything that I talk about is in my book. My book ranges from DIY household cleaners, so we're talking dishwasher detergent, we're talking laundry soap, surface cleaners, window cleaner, all made at home. Also, 100% homemade skincare. Ooh, you got the kefir soda starter? Whoop, whoop. All right, so all my homemade skincare recipes. So that includes lotion, balms, salves, soap making, also to make liquid laundry soap and liquid and solid dish soap. I also have all the fermentation stuff in there. So kombucha's in there, kefir's in there, natto's in there, or it's going to be in there. I don't think natto's in there yet. Natto will be in there. All the yogurts are in there. And then recipes to use those things are in there too. Cultured veggies are in there. It's very like explain the thing. So there's like a page with an introduction about why it is and why we use it, and then it shows how to use it. So it's very step by step, like this is what it is, this is why we use it, this is how you use it, right? I designed this book for my ADHD self. Waiting on your kefir, algae starter to make yogurt. Woo, it's gonna be so exciting when it gets there. I'm so pumped for you, lady. It's gonna be awesome. My book is not currently available yet. I have been working, I was working on my talk. So if you saw my talk, or if you haven't seen my talk, it's pinned on my page. I did my talk called Targeted Microbial Therapy, and that was like my passion project that I've been working on for the last month and a half. So the book kind of went on the back burner. I still have some editing stuff that I want to do in my book. I had some formatting weirdness. My dad recommended that I change the font, and it just like completely screwed up my entire formatting. So I have to go back in and edit every single page in the book. So it's kind of a mess. But I'm planning on publishing it through Amazon KDP. So basically you could just go on Amazon and order it, and then they will print it and ship it to you. So I don't have to handle the books. I don't have to worry about inventory or shipping or any of that stuff. And then I'm also going to work on, getting it on Etsy, I think, so that there's like a cheaper option, so you guys could buy it and just print it out yourself if you want. Your Life Handmade is one of my early readers on my book. She's had a copy for a bit now. Okay, this is looking good. Get about 2 cups of kefir in each of these. So, on my stories, I was talking about how you need to think about these cultures like you're taking people to a buffet, okay? So, this is my culture. This is alive. This is hungry, okay? So, if I take this jar, the name of my book is Homestead to Homestead. if I take this jar, and so we'll call this a quarter. So we'll say I have 20 people and I fill this all the way up. I'm giving them a buffet for 3 times as much as there are. So the amount of milk you give it is going to determine how long it needs to ferment. So if this was all the way full and I didn't give it any more milk, if I just let this on the counter, it would just become over fermented because there's no food for anyone. So it'll be hungry. We're starving. Why is the buffet closed? Right? But when I give it the same amount of milk, it's going to take them, 12 hours to consume it all. But if I give it 3 times as much milk, then it's going to take 16 to 24 hours to eat it all. Does that make sense? This is my own thing. I don't know anybody else who does it like this, but it makes delicious kefir. When you feed the culture like that, it's taking the guys you've already cultivated and then giving them room to really stretch out and grow, right? So this gives them more powerful microbes. It gives them more ability to really cultivate those high CFUs. CFUs is how they measure bacteria, in case you didn't know. CFUs are very, very important. You want to have a lot of CFUs. So if we're going away for 4 days, can we add 4 times the milk? Yeah, so if you're going away for 4 days, a lot of people will put it in the refrigerator. So you would take one tablespoon each, and then you pour the milk in. So for each tablespoon of grains you have, you give it 1 cup of milk, and then you put it in the refrigerator. And when it's in the refrigerator, they will eat that milk, but they eat it really, really slow. So it's kind of like putting them into hibernation, right? You put them in there and they just take a lazy nap. Now, any more than 4 days, then you're gonna run into them running out of food in the fridge, which if you go a long time, that can start to harm them. But if you do it pretty fast, like 2 weeks, they could still be fine. Like they will eventually start consuming themselves if they're left hungry. They'll eat each other. So you could potentially lose all your grains that way. I recommend freezing them if you're gonna take a break for longer than a week. I haven't taken a break yet because I don't travel. I'm a homebody. So you have to eat it in how many days? So with the milk kefir, what it's doing is preserving the milk. So you don't have to rush to eat it all. But if you're making a whole bunch of it, you got to figure out a way to eat it. So I definitely recommend, if it's just like one person, just doing like 1 cup of kefir at a time. So you would do 1 tablespoon of grains, 1 cup of milk, let it ferment for 24 to 48 hours. And then if you want more than 1 cup of kefir, then you do this and you second ferment it. When you second ferment it, that's how I stretch my kefir supply, because we drink a lot of kefir in my household and I like to make it into cheese. So this is how I'm able to keep it so I'm not spending $100, $300 on milk, raw milk for my kefir grains. I like to give my kefir grains raw milk. You don't have to. I have plenty of friends who have been super successful using just like organic A2 milk to make their kefir. It's totally fine. It works great. But I found how I ended up on raw milk. What really happened was I got these super sad little kefir grains. Like literally, it was like a container like this. It was so dinky. There was like 10 grains in there maybe. They were sad, and I was giving them pasteurized milk, and the grains were like, I don't know, depressed or something. So I went and found a raw milk person near me and was able to get a cow share so that I can go pick up raw milk every week. So I pick up a gallon of raw milk from my friend every Monday, and that is what I feed my kefir grains. I spend $70 a month. $70 a month just to feed my kefir grains. It's a little freakish. You don't have to go that far. I drink all of my water between meals, so I don't drink when I'm eating. So oftentimes when it's like, 4 or 5 o'clock, an hour before dinner, I get so thirsty. My body is like, hello. Okay, a little bit more to go, I think. I'm going to switch back to the other jar just to keep them even here. Boink. Boy, I think my grains grew. Somebody gonna match your freak. Yeah, I'm not shy about my weird. I'm really weird. It's totally fine. I let my freak flag fly. I don't mask anymore. I is what I is. I am what I am. I don't know. I don't try to hide it. For a long time, I tried to be somebody else. I tried to act like somebody else. And guess what? I'm not that person. I'm not somebody else. I was trying to be perfect, and I'm not perfect. Am I recording this? Oh yeah, I record all of my lives. I have a 26-year-old son. He's diagnosed with Down syndrome and autism. And he needs me. I'm so excited to find more excited about the book. Yes, ma'am. There is a book called The Immunity Code that might also be really good for you to read. Immunity Code. He has a brother with Down syndrome who also has Parkinson's. But he was able to help his brother dramatically with certain food interventions, and that would be a really good one for you to look into. Yeah, this stuff, the nutrient profile, the pre-digested, just part of it, the fact that your body doesn't have to work to uptake those nutrients makes it fantastic for anyone who has autism, ADHD, mental issues, any sort of anxiety, depression, like all of those things. Your body really struggles to uptake nutrients, especially if you're always in fight or flight. I used to always be in fight or flight. I never would sit down to eat. I would be eating over the pan, standing up, talking, eating, looking at my phone. I was in a constant state of fight or flight. And when I figured that out, and when I started regulating my nervous system, and when I started deeply nourishing my body, the ADHD changed so much. I used to be chronically stressed, and I would have to self-medicate, if you know what I mean. I've been off of that for 2 weeks now. I hadn't taken a break from it in a couple years. I was puffing a lot to try to regulate my brain and keep my ADHD in check. And I stopped recently, and I feel so stable. Just stable. I don't feel off the wall anymore. I feel so just deeply good, if that makes sense. There's no swings. It's not ups and downs like it used to be. It's so just perfectly happy. It's so bizarre. I never thought that gut health, I'd heard, all your serotonin's made in the gut. I know that. I've heard that. I've read that. But now I've experienced that. My body is producing the happy hormones on its own. And a lot of it is the nutrients, and a lot of it is just finding my zen, you know, sitting down to eat my food, relaxing, chewing your food is so important. Now I always say it goes in as a solid, you swallow it when it's soup, right? You don't want to be swallowing big chunks of food because that puts strain on your digestive system. And most of the digestion in your body happens in your mouth. The enzymes that are in your mouth, those are digesting your food as you're chewing. So a minimum, you should be chewing every bite of food 27 times is what my 90-year-old friend told me. 27 times. For each bite. I think I take way longer than that. I'm like at least a minute a bite at this point, but I've gotten to the point where I can just zen. I call it zen dining. It's almost meditative. It's eating like you're doing yoga. It's deep breathing. It's chewing. I don't know, what would we call it? Masticana. Like what's it? Masticatana. We'll try to make it sound yoga-y. Yeah. Chewing your food is so important. So important. And I'm trying so hard to teach everybody this, and I don't think people realize how little they actually chew. Like, they barely chew at all. I'm like, you just put that bite in your mouth. It was this big. There's no way you chewed that into soup. There's no way that it was liquid when it went down your throat. I'm sorry, you went, What are you? A canine? Conscious eating. I am straining my Milk Kefir. I'll show you guys here my Milk Kefir grains. So these are the magic guys. Yeah, you ever see a dog, like you drop, for example, we had a dog. His name was Rocky. He was a dachshund. And if you have had dachshunds, you know that they do not chew. If they get a treat, they will swallow that thing whole. They don't play. They're like, Anyway, I was scooping ice cream one night, scooping it next to the edge of the counter, and I scooped, boop, and a whole big old ball of ice cream fell on the floor. And Rocky was a ninja, a literal ninja, and he went, and swallowed the ice cream whole. He went, it was as big as his head, I swear to God. It was crazy. Yeah, I can definitely show you guys how to make cheese. The only thing with making the cheese is that it kind of just drips for 24 hours. So the video would be very short. It's like, oh look, I made my Milk Kefir. It's ready. Here's my strainer. Dump it into the strainer. And then let it sit for 24 hours. And that's all it is. It's really easy. Okay, I need my measuring spoon. 2 seconds. These are all strained out. So, I'm gonna take my kefir grains here, and I'm just going to measure out 2 tablespoons to put into my 2-cup jar. This is a 2-cup jar. Need 1 tablespoon and 2 tablespoons. And we're just gonna pop that right in there. And then this one is going to go live with my friend. And there's about 1.5 tablespoons in there. So I'm gonna just fill this jar up with milk now. It's kraut time. You eating some kraut or making kraut? Okay, and let me see my milk. Hey Donovan.
What?
my light turned off. Could you run downstairs and grab me another milk, please? Thank you. Why are you turning off light? There we go. This is the last of my raw milk here. He's gonna go grab me another one. The raw milk, please. Yeah, the raw milk. Thanks, baby. Okay, we're just gonna fill that up. My friend's gonna pick that up this weekend. Oh, all right. My arms are a little sore. We've been doing some weightlifting. I did squats this morning. I was so proud. This batch is so garlicky with a whole head of garlic, but it's so good. Ooh, I bet it is really good. Thanks, boo-boo.
We're shaking.
You're shaking it for me? Don't drop it. Thank you. Can you put this in the sink? Thanks, love. All right. Yeah, garlicky sauerkraut is delicious. Are you hungry for dinner, buddy?
Maybe.
We've made cheese by hanging it in a cloth from the shelves of our fridge, and just the weight helped strain faster. Oh yeah, that's definitely a good way to do it. A lot of people will do where they just put it in a strainer in a cloth and sit that in the refrigerator. I personally use a jelly strainer. That's what it's called. I can show you what it looks like. Yep, strength training is definitely where it's at. So this, actually, I could show you guys how to make kefir cheese here in a second if you want, because I have a jar of kefir that I could use. I have one. All right, let's just put this together. So this is called a jelly strainer. You can buy these in the canning section, usually at like Walmart, or obviously you can order it on Amazon. So this just sits over a bowl. I'll show you guys one second. I hang it over at this guy. You have to run to the animals. Yeah, definitely send me a message. No problem. I'll save this too. You're not going to miss much. It was nice chatting with you. All right, so then this just sits on a bowl like that. All right. And then this is a mesh bag. And you just put this over the thing, like that. See? I'm gonna set that aside for a second. I'll show you guys what to do with it when I'm done feeding the kefir here. All right, we're gonna just fill this up with milk. My friend is gonna come get them on Saturday. Get to go to their new home. Oh, so cute. Yeah, this thing's nifty. Super, super nifty. If you're into canning and making jellies and stuff, get one. If you're into making kefir and kefir cheese and stuff, also get one. Okay, we're just feeding the kefir grains with the milk here. Just like that. Now, you do not have to wash out your milk kefir jar every single time. You know, I wash mine about every 30th time or something. They, like, the microbes take care of it. They don't need any extra help from your sanitized wash or whatever. Get this out. Okay. So, for my second ferment, let me get this out of the way. For my second ferment, I use store-bought milk. Any milk will do, ideally organic, but if you can't get it, you can't get it. It's not a big deal. The cool thing about kefiring and fermenting is it gets rid of the bad stuff. The microbes eat the bad things. They eat pesticides, they eat herbicides, they eat glyphosate, they eat microplastics. So it takes a milk that is completely devoid of nutrients and adds nutrients back to it and eats all the bad stuff out of it. Ha! How cool! I just filled it up with milk, and we're just going to give it a little stir to distribute our microbial friends. It will tend to settle on the top and float. Kefir floats if you don't give it a good stir. I'm seeing my friend must be currently watching my stories because she's commenting on like every single thing. I'm seeing a bunch of pop-ups. Girl, get in my live. All right. This gallon is finally gone. Hey, Donovan, can you do me one more flavor?
What?
Can you go downstairs and grab me? There is a jug of milk in a glass container, the one with like a bottle top. One of my jugs of milk leaked the other day, so I transferred it to a different bottle. It's like the clear kombucha bottle with the little loop handle. It's with the raw milk. Can you grab it and bring it up here, please?
Sure. I think I know what
You know what I'm talking about? I'm trying to describe it as best I can. Okay. He's gonna go get me some more milk. So this is done. All we have to do is set it on the counter, and in 24 to 48 hours, we have more kefir to strain. So it's a constant thing. We're feeding these microbes. We're feeding them so that they can grow and thrive and help us grow and thrive. So it's a very lovely symbiotic relationship. Perfect. Thank you, my love. I went to Costco on Monday, and somehow I managed to get a jug of milk that was broken. So I was like, I'm not going to waste it. So I poured it into this jug. I buy about 6, 7, 9. I bought 9.5 gallons of the organic A2 milk from Costco for 2 weeks. I have multiple people that want kefir from me. I make it for local people. I have clients that I make stuff for, but I don't make it for everybody. So I need a lot of milk. All right, sweet. I need lids, but I'm gonna wait just a second on grabbing those. Okay, do you guys want to see how to make kefir cheese? We'll show you how challenging this is, how hard this is. So you just take your little strainer, the jelly strainer. This is kefir that I made yesterday. So see this layer here? That is whey. So you remember Little Miss Muffet, she sat on a tuffet. What was she eating? Do you remember? Curds and whey. Okay. Along came a spider. You ready? This is how hard it is to make kefir cheese. Ta-da! And then you just let it sit for 24 hours to drain out the majority of the whey, and that leaves you with a thick, creamy, let me grab, cream cheese consistency kefir cheese. See that? What does that look like? Cream cheese. So let me show you guys. right? And so with this, you can flavor it up however you want. In my book, I have I leave it on the counter. Yeah, I don't put it away. It's fermented and it's continuing to ferment while it's sitting. If you like a milder tasting cheese, meaning less tangy, then you can do it in the refrigerator. It's just going to continue to ferment while it's sitting out. I like it tangy, so I leave it on the counter. So to this, when you're second fermenting like this, right, you can add flavors to it. So for me, I like to do a savory one. Do you do it with a second ferment? Yes, I do it with a second ferment. I like to flavor kefir cheese with garlic. Is really yummy. So you like crush up 5 or 6 cloves of garlic and throw that in with your second ferment and put a lid on it and let that sit until it splits. So you'll see the whey separate from the curds. You'll see it separated. That's when you know you're ready to do the kefir thing, the cheese thing. When it's separated like that, boom, just dump it in. A random piece of something on there. Just dump it in and let it strain. The following day, or 24-ish hours later after dripping, then I like to plop that into a container and add like a teaspoon of salt per quart of kefir that you used. My girlfriend, who is from California, I took it to her house. That was her first kefir experience, was that kefir cheese. And she lost her mind. She was like, what is this? This tastes like the Zankou chicken sauce. If you have been to California, have you ever been to Zankou chicken? They make a super, super garlicky sauce that they serve with their chicken. And she says this tastes exactly like it when you put a bunch of garlic in it. But you don't have to do savory. You could do sweet. So you could take slices of strawberries and throw those in there. You could put slices of peaches in there. You could put dates in there. And then you strain it, and then you have your own homemade fruit-flavored cream cheese spread that you can put on fruit. You can put it on bread. You can put it on bagels. You can make a fruit dip with it. Like, the possibilities are endless. I've taken kefir cheese and made it into ice cream, where I added cream and fermented it with the cream, with the fruit in there, and then after it's fermented, I blended it up and put it into the ice cream maker. It's a pre-digested ice cream. If you normally can't do dairy, I have done strawberry and it is delicious. I definitely recommend adding a little bit of maple syrup or a date or something, because it can be a little tart. It doesn't get super sweet unless they're really like sweet strawberries. So it's up to you. However sweet you like it, you can, the possibilities are endless. It's so delicious. The ice cream was fantastic. And talk about an ice cream that you don't have to feel bad about letting your kids have. Like, oh, you want more ice cream? No problem. Well, Timmy, here you go. It's like, have your microbes. No problem. It's so good. Alright, I'm gonna put this in the fridge. So, to that kefir cheese, you can get creative. So I like to take the strained kefir cheese, like a quart's worth of kefir cheese is what that was. So it turns into about 2 cups. Half of what's in here is whey. I'll take that and I will mix it with some seasonings for a dip to take to parties. Yeah, do it. So the one I did the other night that everyone at the seed starting party were losing their minds over, I put in a half a teaspoon of onion powder, a half a teaspoon of garlic powder, probably a teaspoon of parsley, and salt. I put a teaspoon of salt in there and a little grind of pepper, and I just stirred it up. I know you just got here, Dawn. I will save it. It'll be on my page. So, with the way that you strain out of the kefir, there's tons of options. Some people will just straight up drink it. Yeah, you can make ranch out of it. That was basically what it is. It was a ranch flavored dip. Some people will just drink the kefir whey. Another thing you can do with it is use it as a lemon substitute. So if you're making iced tea, you could pour kefir whey into that because it's tart. It tastes lemony. You can use it in fermented vegetables. So you make your sauerkraut, and this is a way you can use a little less salt in your sauerkraut. If you find sauerkraut is too salty for you, you can use like a quarter of a cup of kefir whey, and that reduces the pH of those vegetables, so you don't have to use as much salt. Yeah, no, it's like ranch. And if I had dill, which I need to put dill on my grocery list, if I had dill, I probably would have put dill in there too. It's so yummy. And then if you want to make like a ranch dressing type of situation, I like to make a homemade mayonnaise, or you can use Chosen Foods like store-bought avocado oil-based, no other seed oil type mayonnaise. You take a cup of the mayonnaise and you add in all the kefir cheese and you blend that up with like a stick blender, or you could use a whisk. I use my stick blender for everything. And then you add all the same seasonings to it, and then you have a drizzleable dressing that is so delicious and so nutritious. And you don't have to just do ranch. You could put blue cheese crumbles in there. You could do, spices. You could put a little like buffalo sauce in there. You could put some chipotle in there. You could put, spicy stuff. You could do sriracha. Like, sky's the limit. Y'all, all you have to do is be creative, trust your palate to know what's gonna be yummy. Do you trust yourselves to make something yummy? I know I trust myself to make yummy things. I always make yummy things. So look, it's already losing quite a bit of the whey here. You could see what's dripping out in the bottom. And by tomorrow, there's gonna be roughly 2 cups of whey in here. So I cover this with a plate. I'll show you. Just so nothing gets in there while it's straining. And then this will just sit on the counter until tomorrow. It's so delicious. And then I got that press. So what I think I'm going to do is I'm going to take this cloth and everything, twist it up so it's sealed, and put it, I checked out a press from the library. Sorry, puppy. I'm going to twist it up, and I'm going to put it into this press that I checked out. Oh, Corelle plates are the best. And I'm going to press it, and I'm going to hold it in the pressed situation there. Made a fermented creamy salsa verde sauce the other night for California burrito. Ooh, that was really good. I'm super excited to try that out. That's gonna be fun. So fun. The reason I bought kefir to begin with was because I learned that you could use the culture from kefir to make all different kinds of cheese. So you didn't have to buy like store-bought rennet or anything like that to make cheese out of kefir. And my girlfriend she's bought cows. She has 2 cows. So we're going to be in the milk soon. We're going to have more milk than we know what to do with. So I was like, I better figure out how to make cheese. I didn't know it was going to put me down this full-blown kefir obsession. I love it, love it, love it. Yes, you can. There is, I don't know the name of the book. I will have to ask Kat, but there's a book where he teaches like how to do all of that. I need to get it and like read it. So good. Okay. Well, that was all I had to do. Do you guys have any other questions while I'm hanging out? I'm just licking the extra kefir off the sides. So good. Let me see, is this, oh, it's still a little warm. I'm gonna let this cool off a little longer. I was doing kombucha in my stories today. I got kefir on my nose. Because I needed to get it ready for my live I'm doing with Melly on the 14th. I wanted to have examples of all 3 types of tea that I'm making. You could also do oolong tea. I decided not to do the oolong. I'm just doing white tea, green tea, and black tea are kind of the 3 big ones. Oolong tea is cool, but it's kind of just a cross of white tea, of green tea and black tea. You're gonna do carrots this week? Oh, they're so good. They're so good. Yay, your kombucha's coming tomorrow. That's so exciting. This is all that's left of that jar of carrots. Yeah, the 15th. There's like 5 floating carrots left in here. It's gonna be 6 p.m. Central Time, I think. The juice is really good too. I'm glad I had extra juice in there. That's super yummy. I'm sure my kids will polish this off. It's so delicious. So I made a big one yesterday. The carrots I made yesterday was like a half gallon of carrots, so hopefully that'll last more than 2 days. Like, I might have to start making these on a weekly basis because they've been enjoying it. Did your carrots today? Whoop whoop. They're super good. Super, super good. I want to try seasoning them after they ferment, so I'm going to try adding in some like garlic powder, onion powder, parsley, dill, and doing like a ranch flavored carrot. I think that would be really yummy, but I don't want to put that in there while it's fermenting because I worry that the spices will float and it'll get weird. I'd rather season it after, yeah, after, before it goes into the fridge. Like before or after. What else? Any other questions, guys? I put my teas away. These are the teas from my kombucha. The gunpowder, green tea, Davidson's white tea. The Davidson's white tea is super good. It's really yummy. Oh. And then this is the black tea. Loose leaf. All of the teas you use for kombucha are made from the same plant. The Camellia sinensis plant. It just varies depending on how the leaves are processed and when they're harvested. It's pretty cool. It's very similar to, I don't know if you guys know anything about tobacco plants. That was a very, very long ago deep dive for me when I got into cigars and tobacco and all of that stuff. That was a early 20s obsession. I do not have an Amazon storefront. I'm not cool enough for Amazon storefront yet. But I did share the link in my stories today. That tea is in Melly's storefront. We set up a storefront for her with all the stuff in it. They don't want me yet. I'm not fancy enough for a storefront yet. I think they want you to have like 10,000 followers, and I just hit 3,000. So I've got a ways to go before I get a storefront, which is fine. I'll just keep sending stories to people, like putting links in my stories. Yeah. I mean, it's their loss, honestly. It is what it is. Yeah, it's happening. It's slow. It's a progress. I'm starting to make more reels again. I had a bit of a... I can't believe I'm not famous yet. I'm a little famous, just a little. It's funny, my friend Misha from my talk, I'm surprised she's not in here. I don't know what she's doing today. Anyway, she was telling me the other day that her raw goat milk lady, the lady she gets her goat milk from, yeah. I'm not worried about it. It'll happen when it happens. Like, who cares? Like, it'll grow when it grows. I'm starting to do stories and like reels and stuff, and I think reels are what Instagram wants me to do, to start showing me to more people. They don't show my lives to anyone but my followers. So it's not like expanding my reach at all by doing lives, but lives are my favorite. So I will always do lives because I like to actually like talk to people and answer questions and all that. But yeah, I'm starting to make reels. Yes. We already talked about the goat milk lady. Not today, we didn't. Yeah, so anyway, her goat milk lady in Michigan, she gets the milk from. She asked Misha, she was like, hey, are you doing milk kefir? Do you have milk kefir grains? Misha was like, yeah, I can get you some. I can grow you some. No problem. I have them. And the lady was like, oh, great, because my son just got diagnosed with UC and IBS and basically all the stuff that Misha is recovered from doing all these microbial foods. She's like, I saw this lady on Instagram named Vanessa, and she says that we should do milk kefir. And Misha was like, that's my friend who's been helping me. What? So that's like semi-famous to me, to have someone who I know run into someone else who found me separately. That's semi-famous, I would say. What? The dog wants to play. She'll sit over there with her toy and just periodically like whine at me because she wants me to go play with her. You need someone to play with you, girl? You're a menace. You're a menace. She's like, ha, I got her attention. I got your attention. You're a funny dog. You see the dog? You can't see her. She's a shadow. Come over here. She's very black. Very black. Alright. So, we're done doing kefir. How much battery life do I have left? 19%. So, I should probably get off before my phone dies. I was gonna say I could start making dinner, but my phone's gonna die. So, that cuts us off there. We will have to do a cook with me on stories or something. See you later, lady. Drive safe. Talk soon. All right. I'm going to tap out and maybe go into my stories. My stories are already pretty busy today. It might be too much. I don't know. It seems like people still like to hang on. Good talking, everybody. It is a party. I know. I don't want to leave you guys. I could make dinner with you on here. I suppose I could go plug my phone in. Yeah, I just need to make dinner. That's fine. What am I even making? I was thinking about making a chicken, like a whole chicken. But at this point, it's already kind of late. So I might just do air fryer chicken thighs when my husband gets off of work. I think that might be what I do. Or sausages. And I'll do the chicken tomorrow. We could do a whole chicken tomorrow. That's what I'll do. I'll do a whole chicken, roast a whole chicken with you guys tomorrow. Maybe I'll do it on the live. What do you think? Chicken tomorrow? Alright, I'm going to move this over here. And call it a night. Bye, everybody.